The Democratic Civil War hits new heights.
What is going on? All these people publicly said they didn't know what Manchin's number was. Well, Chuck Schumer knew it. What's been happening? It feels like this is they're making it seem like breaking news when this has been sitting out there for 2 months.
There's a document that surfaced. It's signed between Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin, Senator Manchin, and it said, "Look, basically it says there's no $3.5 trillion deal here. It's going to be a $1.5 trillion deal." By the way, these senators have worked together for decades, but they had to put this in writing. What's interesting here is the left is going to go ballistic.
The fighting continues as we speak. Let me start by answering the question you asked. Why did they have to sign this memo? Jay, it's because none of them trust each other. Literally nobody inside that caucus trusts each other right now to get this over the line.
Last paragraph, Andy, comment on this. Senator Manchin does not guarantee that he will vote for the final reconciliation legislation if it exceeds the conditions outlined in this agreement signed Joe Manchin and Charles Schumer.
This is like a contract, a formal agreement that you have to sign because you don't trust the other person to do what you promised to do.
This has been a game that has been played. Now, the question is, does the game backfire? Because you've got enough progressives in the House to sink this and not move this forward in a way that can pass the U.S. Senate. But what we now know is this has been a game played on the American people. I mean, this whole back and forth for the last week of can they do this? Will they get this vote? Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer agreed that until today,
They won't even talk about it.
you're not even going to actually debate the issue.
Welcome to October 1st. It's now negotiation day.
Yeah, so I guess
According
we're
to
going
this
to put it all.
agreement, here it is, October 1, start negotiating.
There's no coincidence that it was last night that this document came out, because today is the day that Leader Schumer promised Joe Manchin he could start debate. But think about this, Jordan. I mean, this thing is detailed. This is like a CVS receipt. So they've been negotiating about these topics.
Yeah, except you
that
don't
the
get
left
the free coupons at the end. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, true. But, behind the scenes, how betrayed would you feel if you're AOC and the squad, that Leader Schumer cut a deal with Joe Manchin, and meanwhile, you look at this document, Jordan, these are the very things they've been fighting about in public for the last few weeks, and the leader of their party didn't tell him he already cut a deal.
This chaos is just part of the reflection of everything they've done since they've gotten in office in January. And that's really true. I don't know if we have the bite pulled where AOC says, we played this during the break. Which Joe Manchin are we dealing with?
Senator Joe Manchin said $1.5 trillion is his number. Is that sufficient for the both of you?
For 1 year? I mean, here's the thing, is that there's a lot of games being played with this number. So this was what Senator Manchin was saying 2 months ago. And so the question that we have is which senator are we negotiating with? Is this June Manchin? Is it September Manchin? Is it August Manchin?
Joe Manchin doesn't care about somehow. He said it. They want more of them. They need to elect more of them.
Right.
He doesn't even talk to them by name. And that is, listen, that's not that unusual in Washington. It's not a put down. It's just like there's 435 of you. There's 100 of us. I am one of two who can sink everything. So, she can call him names, June, man, all this different. But the idea is that she's not bothering him. She is no threat to Joe Manchin. She is a threat to Chuck Schumer.
There's conclusive proof today that July 28th Joe Manchin is the same as October 1st Joe Manchin. So, look, I just think he outmaneuvered AOC and the squad on this one.
It's called Washington, D.C. distraction. Repeat. Washington, D.C. distraction. That's what's going on here.
And it was a distraction from, and we've said this, the debacle in the withdrawal from Afghanistan, what has happened with the generals versus the president, what is happening at the border, which we cannot discount.
They're feeling the heat and panicking, but they don't even have the mainstream media breathing down their neck. No. They just know that the world is in crisis, that things are not going well, and they're not getting the positive press from the places where they used to. So this is the Democratic Party, the progressives, they're not used to having scrutiny from the media. We conservatives are. We can go and take the hits and keep on moving forward when we know the policy is right.
Just a little bit after July 28th, early August, where we said on this program, look for a distraction. Look for them to change the topic from Afghanistan. Jay, Jordan, they had a deal in their hands, and yet in the meantime, they let their party fight over the details. Why? Right. In my view, they let them fight because it was a change of topic, and they would take any change of topic possible.
West Virginia keeps electing Joe Manchin.
Yeah, they do keep
so
electing. He brings brings back pork to the state. I mean, so it's listen, I don't think he's very reflective of where most people are there, except for the fact that he's an institution there. He's not going to be replaced by another Democrat. He's not going to be replaced by someone like him. When he goes, that will be the end of the Manchin era. But the question now is, as long as he's in this position, he's not going anywhere.
Well, right, he's the strongest person. He's probably the most influential senator in the United States Senate right now.
Yeah, that's right. It used to be maybe you could get Manchin's vote. That'd be good for Republicans. Maybe you could get a little bipartisan work. Now it's literally, it will not pass without his vote.